This is Radar for On the Radar Tape Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations, the first week 1 of the 2023 season. For those interested in the preview, the written, it's On the Radar Entertainment Blog, OnTheRadarMedia.com, or the blogger Radar4428. Also the predictions on division standings and awards. The podcast, wherever you get it on the radar. I have all 6 divisions. The opening day observations from last week are also on the YouTube channel here. Let's start with the Mets. I love Jacob Biel. He won a batting title last year, but it's a very hard batting title when the Mets bat you 5th, 6th, or 3rd when, you're the perfect top of the order hitter. Second, they putting him in the outfield when he should be playing second base. There's no need. You got LeCastro and Tommy Pham. Those are good enough backup outfielders that he should just stay where he is. Then with all the shifting with blowouts and things like that, Mark Hanna got into a game at third base, and he got into a game at shortstop, and and Guillorme pitched in a blowout. That at least finds the infield for Jeff McNeil. And then other thing is, Tommy Pham batting leadoff, that's totally fine if he's going to give Nimmo the day off. But I never thought that Tommy Pham was a world-class center fielder, so that's a little bit questionable there. Miami, Jazz Chisholm. I got so many games I watched this past week, last weekend where the Mets are playing the Marlins for 3 of those, and the dude took horrible routes. Mistimed the balls completely. This experiment of taking infielders and throwing them in center field as a starting point is way too much. Outfield is one thing. And we've also known he's not a cleanup hitter. You have Javi Garcia and Jorge Soler and Garrett Cooper are your 3 boppers in the lineup, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's what it is. You also picked up Yuli Gurriel. That's another guy who hits home runs. Okay, so he batted lead off once. And then Soler batted second a few times, and I'm like, dude's a big bop in the middle of the lineup. We're going to go through this all season long. Wendell's not a shortstop by trade, nor is Gene Segura a third baseman by trade. And this De La Cruz guy, he was one of the many outfielders the Marlins played last year who was young and inexperienced and didn't hit well. Why is he batting 5th? Gene Segura is not a middle-of-the-order hitter batting 6th, okay? And catcher Jacob Stalling pitched in a blowout. The Royals, Jose Melendez, we went over this. He's a catcher by trade, but a horrible outfielder. I've seen him in plenty of games. And then they move him back and forth between leadoff and second. We're going to put this guy because Whit Merrifield, Bobby Witt Jr., excusing the Wits, Witt Jr., he's a nice up-and-coming player, and I'm glad they're just keeping him at one position this year instead of 3, but batting him leadoff and then batting him third. Just keep him in one spot, okay? Melendez should be DHing because that's why I don't understand, them getting Franmil Reyes, and I understood why Nick Pratto was sent down at the start of the season, because I'm like, let's clear some DH at-bats for him. Nope. We already have Pasquino and Hunter Dozier, and now we got Franmil Reyes. So I don't know what they're doing with Melendez. And Massey, I understand they want to play him every day, but they don't want to try him at third base and put Nicky Lopez out of position at third base. Again, Franmil Reyes is a DH. That's where he belongs, but it's a roster fit. That's my question. Ryan Yarbrough pitching out of the bullpen. I guess he didn't make the rotation, but he did that a lot in Tampa Bay. And Olivier and Kyle Isabel, if they're going to be some of the outfielders with this Eaton guy, and I thought Drew Waters was supposed to be the everyday center fielder, I don't know why they're batting 6th and 7th. That's a little bit too high for these outfielders who can't hit yet. And then Vinny Pasquantino batting second is stupid. You got him for his offense. Okay? And then JBJ is on the team to be your backup outfielder. Now, I'm guessing because Olivieres and Isabel and Drew Waters all can play center field. That's why JBJ is in right field. But it doesn't give you any offensive value. You want his defensive value. And then Pratto, who I said at the beginning of the year, they sent him down because they had too many corner infielder DHs. He's out there playing the outfield. I'm like, oh my God. This is like last year where they had O'Hearn or McBroom or Dozier aided the outfield and they didn't belong in the outfield. Twins. The whole point of getting Carlos Correa the first time and then bringing him back was to put him in the middle of the lineup. Him batting second and Kepler at the top of the lineup when them and Buxton should be your 3 through 5 hitters. That's where your offensive production is coming. Alarnick is only playing because of injuries to this team. And I thought the whole point of getting Michael A. Taylor was he's going to play center field. You're going to play some Joey Gallo in left field. And when Killaroff comes back, he'll play left field. But Alarnick's not a middle-of-the-order hitter, nor is Nick Gordon. And I'm already off the whole outfield thing because they made him a super utility guy. Solano's a super utility guy, but he's an infielder by trade. So play him at first base when you can obviously go ahead and play Gallo at first base. I don't understand why, you can even play Miranda at first base. Why is he playing first base? And why is he DHing? There's a good enough amount of offensive players in the team that could DH, and I wouldn't put a utility man third. That Willie Castro, he should be getting as many opportunities to play second base with Polanco injured. Don't waste him in the outfield. Cardinals, we know over this. Tyler O'Neill's not a center fielder. There was issues recently about his lack of judgment of running the bases and all this other stuff. Just let him bat 5th or 6th in the lineup. Doesn't matter if it's him or Will Contreras batting 5th or 6th. And let the dude just play left field. Lars Nootbaar batting second, that's a good spot. Tommy Edman batting leadoff, that's a goodie, the table setter. Dylan Carlson batting second, that's a good spot for him also. Carlson playing center field, that's where he did most of the time. And this Walker, they said that this Jordan Walker guy is a third baseman by trade or something like that, and he's blocked. So maybe that's fine that he's playing right field, but I'm going to say this. If Burleson and Lars Nootbaar and Dylan Carlson are the three guys that you want on this active roster, all of them should be playing center field. Let the offensive guys like O'Neill and Walker's potential be in the corner spots, okay? Blue Jays. I'm glad that Springer's no longer a center fielder, so I'm glad he's playing right field. But again, not a leadoff hitter. He should be in the middle of the lineup. And I like that Bo Bichette was batting second a few of the days. That's good. Whit Merrifield got a few starts to second base. Biggio got a few starts to second base. But then again, putting Whit Merrifield in left field and right field and throwing Biggio in the outfield when the two of them should be playing the infield and you got enough guys in the outfield, it makes no sense. And then they screwed it up by going, Bo Bichette, it's good that you were batting second. We're going to put you in the first spot. But then confound it by putting Slugger Guerrero in the 2 spot when he should be batting in the middle of, the lineup. That's where I'm not understanding this. And then the other issue is that Varsho, his days of playing center field should have ended on this team because there's no purpose. There's no need to. Let him just stay in left field, okay? And again, I like Whit Merrifield, but he's not a 5th or 6th hitter. Then we get the Reds. I like that Jonathan India and Friedel were batting 1 and 2. I don't like seeing Steer because he's supposed to have good offensive potential. And then Stevenson's a good catcher, but he's not a cleanup hitter nor a DH. And Fraley's a good enough outfielder that he should not be ever DHing or batting third. He's not a middle order hitter either. And Vossler, I'm guessing with the injuries with Votto and some other guys, that he makes your opening day roster over other people. But again, 5th is a little bit too high for him. Okay, and then Newman, you got him to potentially be your shortstop. Cool. But DHing him and batting him 5th when he's never been the greatest power guy, he's a contact batting average type of guy, is stupid. Fairchild, one of the many outfielders that can field his position but not be a great hitter as he bounced around from team to team. Why is he batting 6th? And then Barrero was supposed to be other shortstop. Why is he playing center field? That's stupid. Pirates. O'Neal Cruz is supposed to be this big, hulking shortstop. I've never once thought, you know what? That's a guy that should be batting leadoff. No, he's a middle-of-the-order hitter type of guy. Reynolds batting second, perfect spot because he makes a lot of contact. Him playing left field. And then having McCutchen, Santana 3 through 4 is great. But they then confound it by putting Reynolds back in center field some days because Connor Joe is playing corner outfield when, again, he's not an outfielder by trade. Then they confound it when Ke'Bryan Hayes was batting 6th. I'm like, that's a little low for him, especially with this Smith hyphenated name guy. I'm like, the whole point is having G-Man Choi, Carl Santana, Connor Joe, McCutchen, Smolinski as your main outfielder. Where's Travis Swaggerty playing the Smith guy if he's better than him? And again, why is he batting 5th? He's not the world's greatest hitter at this point in his career. Ke'Bryan Hayes, I complained batting 6th was too low. Then they confounded by going, let's bat him leadoff. And this Bay dude, who is one of the many guys that they plan on playing second base, playing him in center field is stupid when they have enough guys who can do that. And then the Phillies, I love that Trey Turner's batting leadoff, but they confound it by having Schwarber bat second because then the likes of Stott, the second baseman who's only been in the league for 2 years now, the second year, he's not a 6th hitter. Because then you put Bohm 3rd and Hall 4th, and that's not scary. What's scary is if you were to go Castellanos, Schwarber, and JT Realmuto at any combination of 3 through 5, and then Hall was batting 6th. Like, that's where you're like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Or, you put Bohm 6th. Like, that makes the most sense here. I thought Strom made the team as a starter, but he pitched out of bullpen to start the year. In a blowout, Josh Harrison pitched. They lost the DH. And Harrison out there playing the outfield when they have Christian Pache and they got, Cave. And I'm glad Cave is one of the guys they put to start in this season in left field. But then Amanda Sosa playing center field when I literally just listed all the guys that can play the outfield, okay? Texas. The whole Simeon Seager 1 and 2 is stupid because, yes, you could have Nate Lowe and Adolis Garcia 3 through 4. But imagine if Simeon was second and Seager was third, and then you went Garcia and Lowe, and then Mitch Garver. That would be a really good lineup. They lost the DH with some maneuvering. The Ezekiel Duran guy playing left field, and they list him as an infielder. Robbie Grossman's a defensively challenged right fielder, let alone playing left field. And then Smith is, again, an infielder playing the outfield. And then Dane Dunning pitched out a bullpen because I guess there's enough starters in the rotation. Tiger, Matt Vierling. I'm glad that they're giving this guy opportunity to play every day. He's playing a lot of outfield. He's batting leadoff. That's cool. But when Baez bats second, it defeats the purpose of getting Baez. Baez strikes out a lot, but he hits a lot of home runs and drives in runs. You want that in the middle of the lineup, so batting third's a good spot. Riley Green is in his second year, world-class defensive center fielder. But again, has hitting been good enough his rookie season to make him the 3-hitter? You're like, well, why would you bat him higher in the second spot? Because at this point, he's not going to be Curtis Granderson hit 40 home runs. He's going to probably maybe hit 20 per season. If he's lucky, he makes more contact than anything else. Second is a good spot. Third is silly. Then Haas, who's still a backup catcher, playing him in left field is dumb because it's defensive liability. Him batting cleanup when I want Baez in the middle of the lineup or Miguel Cabrera, it's a little bit of insult. And last year, they moved him all the way 7th. This Carpenter Jr., the utility man, I don't put utility guys 4th. And again, Vierling playing some third base when they got him to be the outfield. Just let him play the outfield, and then batting him third again when he was batting leadoff was a good spot, not third. And then Scope. If you're going to start Scope at third base, then you could have just kept Cesar Hernandez, who's a sure-handled second baseman who makes a lot of contact. Ray. Yandy Diaz is one of the power threats in this lineup with, obviously, Randy Arozarena. There's a lot of pressure on Randy Arozarena when Paredes, who's the utility guy, Harold Mears, who's the backup outfielder, and Margot, who's a speed contact guy, are batting anywhere between 3, 5, and 6, and you're just letting him all by himself. That's not a lot of good protection. Harold Ramirez is not a DH. He's not someone that I'm scared of. And this Rayleigh dude was an extra player with the Dodgers, so he's getting a lot of at-bats and DHing and batting in the 5th or 6th spot. And then Jose Siri, if he's not going to bat first, then he should be batting 8th or 9th. He's not a middle-of-the-order guy. So, Brandon Lau, he's not a leadoff hitter, but I would take that over power hitting Yandy Diaz. And Wander Franco batting cleanup is a little bit too much when I feel like Randy Arozarena and Yandy Diaz should be the 3-4 guys. Franco batting second is a good enough spot for him because at this point, we don't know if he's going to be a 35 home run guy or if he's going to be a contact guy because he hasn't been healthy to start his career. Then Brewer. Yelich and Winker batting 1 and 2 is dumb when they're one of the biggest offensive productions in your life. They're both supposed to be guys that you have to drive and run with the likes of Roddy Tellez and now Luke Voigt. Like, that's a good middle lineup. Willie Adames was batting leadoff or second the last few years, but then they're like, yeah, let's bat him third. And then it's like, okay, Urias is playing third base, and there's Tehran dudes playing second base, and they're throwing Brian Anderson in the right field a couple of days a week. The whole point of getting Brian Anderson was the Marlins were playing him in the outfield, and he wasn't healthy. Okay? Because you want his bat. And he went crazy against the Mets this week, and they started batting him at third base. They played him at third base. He was batting 5th. I felt like 8 was a little bit too low in the lineup for him. And then you got Mike Brassaro, who's a utility guy, but again, he's a little bit stretched playing third base. Has no business to leadoff spot because he's slow as can be. And they did at least a few times that Yelich batting third and Willie Adames second, mixed up with his brother. Like, that's fine. Cubs, Nico Horner, Swanson, good. Speedy contact guy at the top of the lineup. But Bellinger was so bad in L.A. that he was batting 8th or 9th. So why were you as a Cubs manager, Ross, thinking that he's going to be a cleanup hitter? Like, that makes no sense. And then again, him playing center field, he's not the world's greatest center fielder. Yan Gomes batting 6 is a little bit too high for a catcher who's not a great offensive catcher. And then Wisdom, they're literally playing everywhere but his position, which is first base, or even DHing him. They're out here playing him in right field, playing this utility infielder, Mastroboni in the outfield, and Wisdom at third base. When the whole point of getting Edwin Rios was him to play third base, not for him to DH. This is so, because then you're putting guys out of position. Okay? And then Mancini, I'm just tired of this. Okay? Houston did it a few times in the small window they had him at the second half of last season, and Baltimore did that because they're trying to get all these bats in the lineup. Mancini has no business playing the outfield. Okay, nor does Mastroboni. You got Mancini to switch playing time at first base and DH with Hosmer, not the bat in the outfield, and you want him in the middle of the lineup. Okay? And Madrigal playing third base when he's a second baseman, there's no choice because Nico Horner's there, so that it's whatever. And then Torrens is your third-string catcher. Again, wasting a DH spot on a third-string catcher when you're playing guys out of position is really dumb. Red Sox. Rafael Devers is like the last man standing. Bogarts is gone, Mookie Betts is gone, and JD Martinez is gone. He's all by himself, okay? Batting him second, and then expecting, Justin Turner, who's on the last legs of his career and has been the most healthiest, to bat third, and then the rookie American guy, but he's all this guy, Yoshida in the outfield, all these all-star appearances he had in Japan. You can keep that guy fourth, but Devers should be batting third, okay? And you can go Turner 5 or 6 with Duvall. And right there on paper, if it's Devers, Duvall, Yoshida, and Turner, and that 3 through 6 spot, that's really good. Because then you get the likes of Christian Roy, utility man. Kiki Hernandez batting 6 or 7. Rob Repsteiner batting 7th, and Raimel Tapia batting 7th. None of those guys scream power or RBI. Tapia is a speed contact guy. Kike Hernandez is a speed contact guy. Arroyo is more speedy and contact. Those are the type of guys who go 1-2 or at the bottom of the lineup. I like when they had Kike Hernandez lead off because that's where he probably should be. I'm glad the Red Sox are giving Tapia opportunity to play by having him play some center field because that's his natural position, okay? And then the Orioles, Adley Rutschman is a good catcher. But he's not a two-hitter. He's not Jason Kendall. He's not there stealing bases all the time, getting a high on-base percentage. And then they move Santander from left field to right field. Just keep him in one spot. The rookie third baseman, Gunnar Henderson, I thought he was going to be the league on fire at third base. So starting him at shortstop, so you can play this Urias guy or whoever else at third base, is kind of silly. Because then you're getting, Mateo doesn't play, and he's been good for them. And then wasting a DH spot, which is not really a DH, wasting a DH spot because the only guy that I would DH in the team is Santander because between McKenna, I think there's Valvera dude, and Austin Hayes, they're much better defensive candidates. But it's not like he's a bad guy, he's just more of a power guy. And then Urias and Valvera or Austin Hayes should not be batting because they're 6th. Nor should Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier should be the top or the bottom of the lineup. This is where it's like where you put in these guys. And then Austin Voth pitching a bullpen when he's a starter. And then Giants. Demonte Wade Jr., I'm glad he's healthy and batting leadoff. But again, he's not a first baseman. He's a center fielder by trade. Michael Conforto, you got him to replace the production that Brandon Belt and Longoria are leaving behind. So why is he batting second? Because then Tyro Estrada is more of a utility guy. VR, who's unknown by most teams, batting third. And then Yastrzemski batting 5th. Those are not power guys. Okay, Sabel is a natural-born catcher, but I know you're trying to get his bat in the lineup, but outfielder stretch. Matt Beatty, I didn't know he was in the major league still. You know, he pitched in a blowout. And then Junis and Minaya both pitch in a bullpen when they're starting pitcher. Yankees, I like DJ LeMahieu playing second base. That's his position. But then they move him and play him at first base, third base, and DH. That's like, again, stop moving him all around. And again, I don't think he should be leading off, but it's better than what they have. Judge, you should not be batting second. Like, between the rookie Volpe guy, I know he's a rookie, but any of the Oswaldo and even IKF and Harrison Bader, those are guys that I would trust more to be 1 and 2. I know you want to get more at-bats for Judge, but he'll get plenty of at-bats if he's the third hitter, because that's how it is, the first 3 guys. And I don't want to see IKF in center field because he's a catcher by trade. And I'm tired of seeing one of the Oswaldos in left field when they're shortstop by trade. But again, the Yankees refuse to play Aaron Hicks on a regular basis in left field or even center field. I watched the game where Aaron Hicks is playing left field, and Frenchie Cordero, who they picked up recently, is playing right field. I'm like, wait a minute. What are those guys known for? Being speedy and playing center field, but not great hitters at this point. But Judge is out there playing center field, and they're standing out there playing right field some games. I'm like, what are you doing? Let Judge stay in right field and play the guys who are actually natural-born center fielders. It just makes no sense there, okay? Gleyber Torres, DHing him is stupid when you need to DH Stanton or Donaldson. That makes no sense. And then batting third, I never thought of this guy as a middle-of-the-order hitter anyway. Astros, Bregman, again, with Altuve hurt, they're like put Pena in the leadoff spot, which I'm fine with. But Bregman should be batting in the middle lineup because who will want a lineup that is Bregman, Alvarez, Abreu, and Kyle Tucker? That is possible. Because what happens is Myers and McCormick and Hensley are batting 5th through 7th, and that's not super scary. White Sox, Roberts should be batting third because then there are lineups where Yohan Moncada is batting 4th or 5th. And I'm like, that's not scary. His track record doesn't scare me. Benintendi batting 5th or 6th doesn't do it. Now, if you have an injury now to Aloy, that's fine. Benintendi should bat 3rd, and then you should bat Vaughn or Sheets cleanup. But whatever. When Aloy's healthy, Benintendi's the perfect number 2 hitter, okay? And I want to see Roman Gonzalez play in the outfield. I know they brought him on the roster to be an infielder, and he's trying to be the next Ligor Garcia in versatility, but I don't know what happened. Billy Hamilton, Adam Halsey, Jake Marisnik, like where are these guys, Victor Reyes, that are actual good 4th outfielders? I don't know what's going on there. And then Hanzo Alberto pitched in a blowout multiple times, lost a DH. Then the Nationals. Why is Meneses batting second when you're supposed to get him for some protection in Dickerson and Smith? And he batted 4th a few times. Cool. Candelario is statistically one of the worst hitters in baseball last year. Why is he batting 3rd? That's just still stupid. Garcia batting top of the lineup. Again, better than him batting 7th because he doesn't drive and run. Keyword Ruiz, I know he's a catcher for the long term, but he's not a cleanup hitter. And I know Chavis is doing what the Red Sox did. They want to get his bat in the lineup. But again, third base is Candelario, one of the worst 6 hitters in baseball. I don't want Chavis playing out of his second base. And Ilmar Vargas is the utility infielder. Why is he playing the outfield? Then Atlanta, Ronald Acuna. Glad he's been not playing center field. He's in right field. But him and Olsen batting 1 and 2 is dumb because then Albies, who's not a cleanup hitter, And Sean Murphy, who's definitely not a 5-hitter, and Michael Harris, who's not a 5-hitter, are in the wrong spot. Michael Harris is the perfect guy to put in the top of the lineup, okay? Or you put RC at the top of the lineup. Don't waste the DH spot on Jarno if you're going to bat him all the way in the 8th spot, okay? I'm just saying, Albi should be in the 2 spot and go Acuna, Olsen, Austin Riley, and then Ozuna and what's his name? Rosario. That's an impossible lineup to beat. The Padres. Juan Soto's perfect number 2 hitter. Why is he batting leadoff? He's perfect number 3 hitter, not 2 hitter. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Batting him second is not where he should be. I'm glad he's in left field defensively. They're just going to do that until Tatis comes back, not switch him over. Cronenworth, I know he's playing first base, so you expect first base production out of him, but he's not a 5 or 6 hitter, and again, he's a shortstop by trade. Xander Bogaerts has no business batting leadoff. You got him to be in the middle lineup to protect Manny Machado and Juan Soto. Again, Manny Machado should not be batting second. That's where Ha-Seong Kim and Jake Cronenworth should be coming in. And then Odor's playing the outfield. I know they have no other choice, but they want to get his bat in the lineup. Dumb. Chris Bryant, you got him to be in the middle of the lineup. Stop batting him second. And then Ryan McMahon, I swear to God, you got Tovar and Trejo and Moustakas. They've had 3 other guys play third base. Just let McMahon play his natural position, and then for those two of those guys at second base, and and put Jerson Profar or Harold Castro there, because I don't want to see an outfield that has Harold Castro and Profar in the outfield. I know the other night he made all these amazing plays. But yeah, I'm just saying, an outfield that's full of 3 infielders in Profar, Harold Castro, and Chris Bryant is not good. And Dils Lamet, a starter pitching out of bullpen. Angels, Taylor Ward, the catcher, playing the outfield. At least he's playing left field, so it's not that bit of a stretch. But he's not a leadoff hitter. The whole point of having like some Fletcher and Rengifo is they could be the top of the lineup. Okay? Trout should not be batting second because then Rengifo is batting 5th or 6th. If Trout is batting 3rd and Ohtani's batting cleanup, and then you make a determination between Rendon and Hunter Renfroe, who's going to bat 5th or 6th, then your 7th hitter would be Ward or Walsh, and you're like, wow, that's a really good lineup. That's what you want it to be, okay? And I'm tired of seeing Urshela as shortstop. I thought it was supposed to be in case Fletcher gets hurt, in case Rengifo is not good. But both of them are playing, so that just makes no sense. And he's never been a world-class hitter that need to put him in the lineup every day. And then Tice, who's played first base, third base, and outfield, is catching, okay? The A's. This Capel dude, if he's a slugging DH, why is he batting second? And Elizabeth Diaz is not a 3-hitter. He's the bottom of the order guy. And supposedly, this Rooker guy makes the team, but not Pache, and DHing when he's an actual outfielder. Come on. Laureano's a good defensive outfielder. He should not be DHing. Diamondbacks. Kyle Lewis should not be DHing, but between Corbin Carroll, Jake McCarthy, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr., there's not enough room. But I would rather Kyle Lewis play the outfield than DH Lourdes Gurriel. And him and Marte have been sweeping back and forth between 1 and 2 with Rojas. That's fine. Those guys doing that. Ahmed should not be batting 6th or 7th. He's not a hitter. He's a good shortstop. Lost the DH with maneuvering. Dodgers, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. One of them could be at the top lineup, but not both. Because Bellinger, Trey Turner, Justin Turner, and Edwin Rios are gone. And you're now relying on Max Muncy and David Peralta and Will Smith. That's not the scariest middle of the lineup. I think it's scary when Will Smith is batting 5th or 6th. Because if Freeman's batting cleanup and Mookie Betts is batting 3rd and you could put Muncy 5th and then you go Will Smith 6th and Peralta 7th, that's kind of scary, okay? Chris Taylor doesn't scare me batting 5th or 6th. And the whole point is, I thought with Rojas as shortstop, there would be no need for Chris Taylor to play shortstop. And with Max Muncy, there's no need for him to play third base. The whole point was him to play second base. The whole point of Mookie Betts second base is a dumb gimmick they shouldn't be doing. Between Jason Hayward and this Outman dude, and Peralta, and Trace Thompson, there'd be no reason why Taylor's getting at bats in the outfield. They need him in the infield. And then Hayward again, between Outman and Trace Thompson, there's no need for this right fielder ever to play center field. Cleveland, Ahmed Rosario is still the whole shortstop defensively with Jimenez better suited there. The whole Ahmed, I feel, is more of an offensive player than Jimenez, so they should swap between 2nd and 6th. Naylor played a game in right field, Josh Naylor. The whole point was to avoid that by making him a first baseman DH, and they got enough outfielders. And this Arias is the new Owen Miller's U-Chain. Super utility guy. They play him infield and outfield, but again, not a middle hitter, not a first baseman. Then Seattle. Wasting Tommy LaStella at the DH spot and then batting him 8th is a waste of a DH spot. Kalenic hasn't proven as a good enough hitter, but batting 5th and 7th is way too high. Colton Wong and J-Rod flipping around between 1 and 2. I would much rather see Rodriguez bat third, but that's another story. Ty France batting second a few times. No. He and Suarez and Teoscar Hernandez are your big guys in the lineup. Haggerty, he actually played some second base, which I was happy about, but again, batting him sixth when he's not a power guy. Murphy's your backup catcher, DH him. I'd rather DH your starting catcher, Cal Riley, because he's an actual good offensive catcher. And then Colton Wong, when he wasn't batting second, batting fifth, gives you no offensive value. And again, Haggerty playing the outfield when he's an infielder. Thanks again for listening to Week 1 of the 2023 MLB Observations. For On the Radar Table Log, I'm Radar. See you guys next time.